welcome to another Smackdown review. And of course, we got the only inspiration that I'm watching Smackdown consistently, alcohol. Other than that, let's start the review. We open with an in-ring promo involving Edge, going over his return, going over why he's deserving of a one-on-one shot, seeing how many disadvantages he had over his road to WrestleMania, how Daniel Bryan forced himself over the main event, how many times he cost him the title, and how younger Edge would be upset, but this time wiser, and I know everything that goes around this bit. It was a good promo. Great promo. Edge was consistent over backstage segments, as well as Jimmy Uso trying to foretell that there will be an opportunity to jump Edge tonight over his main event match. I mean, in the closing segments, calling over Edge. And Roman Reigns was not even at the event tonight. So I guess they were trying to sell over that. Roman really doesn't care about his brother. I don't mind this little infighting between the family so Edge can take an advantage. I don't mind this type of storyline, but it's just a bit predictable, and especially if Roman Reigns wasn't even there to begin with, so you already know what they're already foretelling you. The only sad thing is Roman Reigns is technically the only star they have. Roman Reigns, like, I'm not trying to dick suck. I know Roman Reigns being heel has been the best thing to happen for WWE, but it's also shown when the issue is over with this brand split and the reason for WWE. This foretells a lot of desperation with making current stars because WWE knows that they have a bunch of mid-carders with one top guy. And you can't force over top-of-the-line long-term storylines with Roman Reigns against upper mid-carder Cesaro, upper mid-carder Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn if they turn and face upper mid-carder Seth Rollins. Like, these are not guys that are carrying over the company in the next 10 years. Roman Reigns already has nearly a decade of history in the WWE, and foretelling that we still have enough to draw over. There's no other perennial guys that you can put over for him in the title. That's why after they're done with probably having another good match with Edge at Money in the Bank, what's gonna be next? Other than that, really good promo by Edge. Have no complaints about that so far. Also, we had Kingsuke Nakamura. It sounds like Kingsuke Nakamura. Frickin' weeaboo retard with his stupid crown doing all this gimmick garbage. I hate it. I hate Nakamura with a passion. Ugh. And it comes over with him tagging with Big E in this match. All because they're in a feud. See. Rick Boogs is the only charismatic person out there that's not even wrestling that night. So, back body drop, spine buster. Corbin was taking up the advantage until Rick Boogs had to report that Corbin, oh god, he even has a Hummer. A Jeep Wrangler coming around, getting towed. So he lost his King gimmick. That means his life sucked. Well, he has his King gimmick and he never even won a championship. Like, you already know how much of a jobber he was then, and yet he's coming around now saying that his life sucks. I don't like this storyline. I don't care. It ends with Biggie taking the advantage and going for a big ending the match like that. Oh, dude. I'm trying. That was just atrocious. Average enough that the person trying to spread out most of the personality is the guitar guy. And most people, when they talk about it, talk about the Rick Boogs, they're just gonna say, "Is this just another ripoff of Elias?" Well, at least the guy shows a bit of personality. I'm not gonna denounce that Rick Boogs is the best thing on God's green earth, but at least he's a bit of a positive. I can see some potential with Rick Boogs, probably as a maybe a better in-ring competitor because the guy has muscle. Of course, he's coming from NXT. I know he had an air guitar gimmick that could probably work. and he just seems like an average enough babyface or heel that you can push over on the roster. I'm shocked that Vince is only using him now as just entertainment fodder because we know Nakamura can't do promos. So yeah, there is also Sonya Deville because we have that much of a lackluster women's roster. She has to announce who else is in the Money in the Bank, and it's a return for let's start a union on $1 billion company, Selena Vega, for third party when you make probably six figures. That makes a lot of sense. I would slap myself in the goddamn face if I was able to make pretenses like that. And it's like, why are they taking away these rights? Because they don't need it. And second of all, that's against how they are contractually obligated. When rules are set forth, you're the employee working over in a touring schedule where you're pretty much contracted if you want to consistently be here. I would go with the rules either way. I mean, I'm not trying to go over anybody's beliefs, but guess who got hired back? Guess who probably needed that job back? Selena Vega, because she knows Twitch isn't gonna be always for the long term, especially for a woman that wants to be a pro wrestler. And she comes over in her return, and then she jobs out against Liv Morgan after Liv just jobbed out to Carmella the last week. How dumbfounded has that? That has to be the saddest thing in existence. To just come over your return after nearly a year over your release, and people are trying to take it like, oh, Zelina Vega could have been. You guys didn't know what Zelina Vega would be good for, and she jobs against Liv Morgan. And I don't hate Liv Morgan, the girl. I feel like Liv Morgan is an attractional talent. She looks like she can be part of a major storyline. She can act as well, and she's a cute chick. And I've brought this up before. Like, you guys need to understand your level of attraction, or else you don't know who's cute, who's hot, who's like ugly, alright, cute, hot, gorgeous. There's levels. And I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say like I, I I'm obviously not a hunk. I'm obviously not a good looker, but you should know the type of people that look a certain way, like jobbers. So that happens, and they keep consistently throwing over our face that, oh, bro, Roman Reigns is testing me, bro. Main event Jimmy Uso, bro. And he kept trying to exceed, and Paul Heyman's being all the way quiet, trying to make sure that Jimmy just has just most of the excitement and optimism coming over that Roman might be in his corner. So that's technically all they have. Just while Edge does another good promo, forcing over that I know the BS is going to happen. I don't care. I know what's set up for me. I'm just ready to kick Roman Reigns' ass and take the world title. There's also another backstage segment proceeding over Seth Rollins complaining, why does he get a Universal Championship opportunity against Roman Reigns? Because Edge didn't have his one-on-one match with Roman. And another goddamn rematch. We have Cesaro and Rollins booked for like the 15th time. And you're taking this now as a mild annoyance. Why taking this as a guy that you've been back and forth feuding with on pay-per-view, and then they just have a number one contenders match? So I hate when they've been doing this, because most of the number one contenders match were guys that already have grudge matches and multiple matches on pay-per-view. Like Cesaro, like like Cesaro and Rollins gets a qualifying match even though they feuded on pay-per-view before. Shay, Big E and Apollo just had a qualifying match the previous week, and Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, like, this is personal, and it's gonna be a last man standing match. The match was nearly the same thing, except he just got pop-up powerbombed like 3 times and then hit twice on tables. And then these guys keep hitting their normal moves, like it was just, like it was, oh! You're telling me that Exploder Suplex that I gave him on the ladder wouldn't even last him over 10 seconds? Ah, a haluva kick, another haluva kick, a stunner. He super kicked me on the ring post. It's like nearly this. If you've seen a Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn match, you've seen them all. And the pretense of this is just a mild annoyance into now a qualifying match. So this is just prohibitively more mid card. This is as dumbfounded as the stupid ass top 50 list on World Tag Teams. Yeah, somehow I can agree that the Usos are better than the New Age Outlaws, or whatever the shit they think. Over to not bury the newer talent, because yeah, people can remember one DIY match when they beat the Revival, and the Revival weren't even on the list. La Resistance wasn't on the list. The 2-man power trip wasn't even on the list. I was pissed off about that. Literally, I think that was the first time when I was very young, and I think my cousin just showed me that. Oh, that was the first time you were watching WWF. Wait, what? I was shocking myself. I think it was the time when Triple H was beating the shit out of Lita and the Hardy Boys one time, and Steve Austin pummeled Lita with a steel chair. So I guess that was my earliest glimpse into the WWE. But like, this match. I'm not saying this is a terrible match. This was an alright match, but it's like nearly the same style. This is supposedly a grudge match where people, where at least fans understand, is years of history between these guys beating the shit out of each other. So imagine how monotone it sound when their most amazing spots come out of just doing regular spots over the ring. Oh, he got hit over the barricade. Onyx, butter, suplex. You know how many times they did that over to the ring apron spot? And they're selling it over like it's gonna last over 10 seconds? When they can barely even, like, even though they come under the 10 count outside, whenever they do crazy shit like this? Like, I don't know what you guys are expecting. I really hate whenever you oversell a spot that's been done before to death. Like, get some chairs, bring a toolbox out. Like, you guys take it like all you need is a kendo stick, chairs, and tables. It is so long-windingly boring. Ugh. By the way, our main event was Angelo Dawkins versus frickin' uh it was Angelo Dawkins versus Otis. Otis looked like frickin' Butch Magnus. He shortened his hair, coming around, uh looking more aggressive. I don't mind this character change, but I kind of liked Heavy Machinery more than this Alpha Academy BS. He just looked more of a deranged fat neckbeard jobber. I understand you're trying to make him more serious, but I didn't mind him over with the Heavy Machinery. And hell, it even had my favorite storyline of last year, involving him trying to get Mandy Rose with Dolph Ziggler being the foil. And now they screwed it up. And he just destroys Angelo Dawkins. They have a back and forth. They hit over a couple clotheslines to each other. Montez Ford trying to overact as much as possible, thinking that that means he has charisma. And it ends with a huge. He doesn't even do the caterpillar anymore because he's not a face. And he does a corner splash over the second rope to win the match. So, yeah, they're trying to push over. Otis is somewhat of a more dangerous opponent. So, I don't mind this character change, but also you could have just made him a solo act. Even though we know how that works for Tucker when you broke him up and he's now released. So, just seeing how this action came into an underwhelming main event, it really shows you the lack of star power SmackDown has. And whoever had this idea that somehow SmackDown's the A show, you are high as hell. I'm sorry, bro. If you're telling me that Angelo Dawkins, like a basis mid-card squash match, is our main event, that sell over one decent mid carder that the bare minimum of only WWE fans know that is over. It's a fat guy that looks like Butch Magnus wearing a singlet, and that should be our main event. You're just as deluded as that writer that WWE had that just got fired after saying that. Okay, not gonna cap. I forgot what to do. Like literally, that's literally it. He sucks. Like this This show was completely mediocre. The only thing that saved it was technically, I guess, The Last Man Standing and a bit of the Edge promos. Roman Reigns. Okay, Jimmy Uso teases over finally coming in over in the ring, calling out Edge, and Edge lays his ass out. Of course, selling over that the crossface with the with the small bar of the steel chair, choking over Jimmy, absolutely colluding him. After Jimmy came with high hopes that it would be Roman jumping him together, and he came out looking like a complete bum and really displaying how much Roman hated him. Well, Roman should have been watching or something to at least display that he was busy, but he was still observing or something. Like bring some drama over this, other than Jimmy just looking like a complete jobber. And I didn't mind Edge looking dominant, but this could have been a better way to go to hype over the Money in the Bank match because this is our final pay per view before we're heading over to the Raider Stadium, where there's going to be at least a decent capacity in a football stadium. You suspect a lot coming with a lot of fans, especially when we're turning back in the road come next month. So there's a lot riding over to build up come pay per views. Pay per view should be more must see, especially for your TV product. And WWE is still not delivering. I feel like they need to cut over this brand split. Whoever is still making draft choices, you're fucking high. I'm sorry. Like saying Drew McIntyre coming to SmackDown as well as Bobby Lashley is going to impact nothing. It's gonna impact nothing. All you're gonna have is another decent upper mid card. I don't hate Drew McIntyre. I feel like he could be a potential star. Looks like an action figure. He can do average enough promos, and he's been a hell of a wrestler. But he's just but it's just the succession of limited amount of stars that you can even have to push over a pay per view buy. So you're telling me as well that you think you can sell a show with just Kevin Owens and McIntyre on pay per view? Are you really telling me this? Like if without the brand split, we could have an excuse of more tag teams. I'm not watching Rated RK, bro. Again, I'm not. Please, that sucks. Videos coming out. I hate Matt Riddle. I hate that Orton has to deal with this. I'm sick of this. Other than that, the show is mediocre, and they keep it more patriotic. This is coming out 4th of July, so there you go. Other than that, I want to thank everybody for watching. That's it for me. And thank God I have alcohol.